Hi, and welcome to season 2 of Own Your Divine Light show. My name is Janet Miller, and I welcome today a gifted spiritual teacher and channel, Solara. Besides being a spiritual teacher and channel, Solara is a quantum healer in service to the shift in consciousness on Gaia, our mother planet. Solara has worked with clients around the world for over 15 years as a conduit for the highest level of light intelligence and ascension guidance. Although Solara was born with fully open psychic abilities, she tried to ignore these gifts during her career as a fashion designer and running a fashion college in London, England. After accepting her true mission from Spirit and going through a deep transformational process, her natural healing and channeling abilities came online. She now works with private clients and companies around the world and has created her own healing and ascension system called the New Pleiadian Lightwork. Solara is certified in Feng Shui, Magnified Healing, Reiki, and Pleiadian Lightwork by Amora Kuan Yin. Although Solara works multidimensionally, she is grounded with a great sense of humor. She has no association with any religion or group. As a way shower and grid worker, she receives updates from a benevolent collective of higher dimensional beings on frequency shifts and upcoming earth shifts. Wow, Solara, this is so wonderful to have you here, and you share your information in live channelings, articles, and classes as a pure conduit to empower, inspire, and accelerate the shift in consciousness. She is currently based in Berlin, Germany. Solara, it's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Janet. It's an honor to be on your beautiful show. And Janet, I really love that you're going to talk about how we bring our multidimensional awareness and our divine light into our daily life, into our business, how I got there, and what each of us can do to improve and make the next step in our evolution of consciousness. I'm very excited to be part of your team and to help people with that. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're all owning our divine light, aren't we? So Solara, I love what you talked about your childhood and how you had these psychic abilities and they came out and then you decided to ignore them. So tell us a little about that story, because everyone loves, to hear about where did it start. So, and I do too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you mentioned already in the introduction, I was born with fully open psychic abilities, and talking and interacting with higher beings and nature beings was very natural for me. Mm. And I even remember when I was very, very young, looking at the adults and seeing right through them and seeing their soul and wondering, well, why are they wearing all these masks when there is so much behind, actually?
Wow.
So, and I was very connected to nature. I had great experience in nature, and I mean, as my life went along, back then, spirituality was not such a well-known field as it's today. I mean, we are very blessed, I think, that it's what it is now. I mean, shows like what you do with a beautiful show, this is all possible. We can connect also through the technology. But back then, I mean, I was always a very creative person. So and so I used my visions to study fashion design. And that I liked it. I really liked it. It's a beautiful field. I could work with colors, with fabrics. Even back then, I was just thinking about it because I knew our conversation is coming up. I remembered basically most of the time I was even designing spacesuits and and clothes, which are now much more common. Back then it was like a very, very
avant-garde.
Yeah, style. Yeah. Yeah. And even I used, when I was studying whole, or the techno fabrics came up. So that was interesting.
Mm.
And then I worked in the business for several years. And of course, the business was very different than designing at the university. And so one thing was, it was really difficult for me to cope with, let's say, the conditions, how, like hierarchies and how people would treat it. And sometimes, the more business shine, it's not what is really in the inside. And back then, I mean, heart-based businesses didn't hardly exist. It was all old light energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for me. And also the calling of my real mission came through, and so I didn't really wanted to listen, because I couldn't really imagine what it would be. I mean, at that point, I was running a fashion college. I was designing my own collection. After I left corporate, I was working years in corporate, but that was not at all what I really wanted to do. So that was an improvement, to do at least my own work.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, whenever I got a reading, or my guides came in, they were all telling me, you are a healer and you are a channel and this is your mission. And I was sitting there working, I don't even know how many hours per day, running all these businesses. And I just thought, these people are crazy telling me. I mean, it's not that you open up a practice for, like tomorrow, and people want your service. So and because I didn't listen, my higher self said, okay, you want it the hard way. So I created a severe illness, and actually in the end, I couldn't sleep for a whole week, which literally is not possible for the physical body, but somehow I survived it. And it was totally clear that I have to make the shift. And so through my own healing path, actually, all my abilities fully came online again. And I started to follow my call. And it was very interesting. At the beginning, I was mainly doing feng shui. And I just remember the day I quit, like I still had a part-time job in fashion, kind of, because my little human self needed to feel secure. And I would recommend it to everybody, to if that's helpful for a shift, that's a good way. And so, and I just remember on my last day of in that job, I got my first big feng shui client.
Ooh.
And actually from that point, I always have, like, my friends and colleagues, they always say, well, you went like the phoenix out of the ashes, because it just started flowing and rolling, and I got clients, and I started channeling all these healing techniques, and my business started rolling, and I loved it. I totally loved it.
Yeah, that's amazing. See, the universe was thanking you for finally stepping on your path, and that's what people see when they finally step on their path. Things start flowing in their life, unless of course you keep having resistance, and then they'll give you more of that as well, because you want that. But you decided to surrender, and you just got that beautiful energy flowing. So yeah, you created your own healing system called the New Pleiadian Light Work. So I would love to hear how did that happen? What is it? So everyone can understand what you do and how it works for people.
Yeah, actually, New Pleiadian Lightwork, it's a complete system about healing, and really it's an ascension system,
Mm-hmm.
so that we come into our full awakening and power. And it's a fascinating story. I didn't even know what it was when I brought all the pieces through. I mean, Jen, you know how channeling works. You
Yeah.
bring it through, and you collect it and you write it down, and then later it all makes sense. So I remember one day, I remember a friend coming up to me, and he had this book in his hand. He said, um, Solara, you have to see that book, you have to read it, you have to meet that woman, because she's doing similar work than what you do. And there was a Mora Kuan Yin who is not on the planet now. She left in 2013, but she
Mm-hmm.
was in Mount Shasta, and published a book, and so I looked into it and I couldn't believe it. And I had to connect her. We made great friends. You know, the moment we met, it was, yeah, sure, we were
Sisters.
buddies through all these lifetimes. And for me, there was also a big shift, because through her, I went to Mount Shasta the first time. And I never really felt comfortable being a home, being on Earth. It was not that I wanted to leave. It was not that. It was just a little bit, something was always missing. And the moment I went to Mount Shasta, and I saw the first time the mountain, and I didn't even know it was that mountain because we were driving north from Oregon um, down. I just said to my partner, "You have to stop. You have to stop." And I just looked at the mountain, and I think I cried for an hour, and I felt home.
Yeah. Yes, I know that feeling. Yep. I was just there myself in June, and I did the same thing. I cried before I went. Once I got there, I was just so happy, but I cried more than once sitting in my chair going, I'm actually going. I've been waiting a long time to go. Yeah. So yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
But then you met Amora,
yeah.
and
I
then,
met her. Yeah, we worked together for a while, and she then she left.
mm-hmm,
She did her beautiful work. She connected many people, and yeah, and I mean, also because there was the time, 2012, we had the shift, and since ever then, also the teachings changed so much, and a lot. What I would teach in the past didn't apply, and it completely adapted to the new frequencies and what people need now. And it's constantly leveling up and amplifying. I mean, I'm bringing through new information, like, on a regular level.
mm-hmm,
And I bring it in my programs, I implement it in my programs. And it's not only from the Pleiades, it's also Arcturian technologies. I have this beautiful, totally new system now. I have in my multidimensional mastery program, which is, I mean, fantastic clearing techniques. And for me, what is, if I look back how we used to work, and how let's say how long certain procedures took.
mm-hmm,
Although this is what I always loved with my Pleiadian Lightwork, is that I found it was such an efficient system,
mm-hmm.
because that was what I was always looking for. I didn't want to really kind of steer in the pain and make things so heavy. I was looking for something. This is what I was asking for. I mean, can there be some lightness and some humor, and also, like, the good side in it, that at the basically at the same time that we clear things, the potential comes up, and we awaken more. So all the good qualities and the good frequencies are coming forward. That was always my intent, and I guess that's why I mean remembered basically the system. So and now it's amazing how quick we can I mean clear I mean many lifetimes now, even in one session.
Really?
It's amazing.
Hmm.
And people
Go ahead.
shift
Yeah.
so quickly. And this is, I think, that's for me, it's very important, especially because of also the times we are in. That's what we need. We need to come forward. We need people to shine, to live their potential, to get clear on their abilities, so that they can bring their unique abilities to the table.
So tell us what a session is like. What is a Pleiadian light work session like? Can you tell?
Oh, it's totally different.
What's that? Is that too much?
whatever is in your highest interest, in your highest plan at the moment.
How long do they take?
It also varies. I mean, it's it really very much depends on what we do, what comes forward. I mean, it's a very intense work, so I if I work individually, I have to, I can, or it takes from 45 minutes to, let's say, 90 max.
That's pretty good.
The frequencies are so high that I'm bringing through. The body has to be able to cope with it. It doesn't make any sense to overload somebody.
Right.
So that's always like one thing I'm very aware of and looking at. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay. So now you're doing your new light work, and what do you think of the collective consciousness at this point in 2019? What do you think is going on now that you work with people, you've got your system? What do you see people letting go of, and what's coming in for them? Like, what do you think?
Very, very, very interesting question. So, first of all, I think, I mean, we are in a huge shift of consciousness. And I think this is so great that you are having this show, you know, bring all these people together and talk about it. And I was just sitting, you know, before we started an interview and connecting with my higher team and to get the information, what is appropriate for today and what's in the highest interest of us and our audience that can be really helpful. And energies are intense for everybody. So I think it's very important that we first of all try to stay really centered and don't get steered off by the drama on the outside. When I was teaching, I was teaching a multidimensional mastery program last month. It finished, and I was presenting very, very good practice to my students that I feel for many, the frequencies right now, it's a little bit as if you are in a tornado. So the really good place you want to be in is like the center, the eye, because this is quiet, it's calm, it's peaceful.
Yeah.
And you can stay in your power and observe what's going on. And so what that means in a practical way is the pace, how we move is, for me, is one of the keys. Meaning if you move too fast, you come into the tornado zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? And if
Uh,
you move too slow, always also because the tornado is moving forward in its own pace.
okay.
So so I feel because people are waking up and people are at very different stages with that. Um, it's always good to get help, to look out for support on wherever you are on your spiritual path, because these times, I mean, we are moving into unity consciousness. It's not about trying to do everything by ourselves. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these times are really over, and we see the whole system crumbling, and it's gonna be more intense, especially next year. I will go right away into the 2020 frequencies, which we are experiencing right now already.
Mm.
um, because the love is coming in, and the freedom energy is coming in, and humans are not used to it. Yeah, we are used to follow commands and
Mm. Well, we
be.
kind of gave it up too, didn't we? We gave up some of our responsibility because, oh, well, they're in charge. Let's just follow what they say. Well, now we're getting it back and we're like, what is this all about? Now we have to be responsible. Now we are in charge of our lives. We're finding out. How do you like that? Wow. I didn't know I was the creator. I didn't know I was making everything in my reality happen.
Yeah, and this is a big, it's a big change, and this is, I feel this is what is very challenging
Excuse me.
for the next years, which is coming up. Um, Also and this is one point I find very important, to bring the joy and the creativity back into that again, because being creators, um, the first question is, well, what do you want to create?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is in the highest interest of you and all concerned? And just to wrap the mind around it, and especially the heart, it's more about really feeling, like moving from these mental constructs into the heart, and really uh, feeling the love,
Mm-hmm.
feeling also the respect for everything and for other people. I think if we really go into the heart, and if we let us be guided by the heart
Mm.
frequency, then the path is very easy. And we have the love frequencies now, like really activating, and we have the freedom codes activated, and we have, like the way showers, the forerunners. We always like a couple of steps ahead from everybody else to make it easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, to experience it, and it's really embodiment and experiencing that. It's we are all learning, because what we're experiencing now, the ascension of humanity, that's the first time.
Mm.
So being patient with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
going into nature, meditating, movement, and also resting, to rest, to sleep enough is that's a big change, because we are so busy.
Mm-hmm.
And if we look around, I mean, most of our societies, especially in the Western world, it's, well, what's your job and how much do you work? And actually, it's almost a compliment, if people say, well, I work 24 hours a day. The week doesn't have enough days even, or whatever. And this, I think, so that completely changed. It's even, I observed that in my work in the last years. Before, we used to make like long-term plans,
Mm.
and that doesn't apply at all anymore, because of the shifts and the downloads and the shifts in frequencies. It's like sometimes for 3 days we have like a go window, and we have strengths, and we can really accomplish a lot of things, and the energy flows, and then we are really like flattened on our back, and we have to lie down.
Yes, I've seen that myself.
And it's nothing wrong with us, even like
Uh-huh.
sleeping patterns totally changed. And I always find that fascinating when I talk about this, because I also do regular energy reports where I talk about the frequencies, what's coming up, what um, can we be aware of, what to work with, what is in the highest interest. And I found it fascinating when I talked about that the very first time. Then I said, well, take a break,
Mm,
and we have to sleep more.
mm,
And people were looking at me, and I felt this whole
mm,
big breath, big relief, and and that's it. I mean, we have to, or not. We have to. It's free choice always. If we go with the energy, how it flows, things get very, very easy. And the moment we cling on the old way, and we cling on to old patterns, um, we create resistance,
mm.
and that hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we see this in the collective. We see it with the old structures. When people are staying on the lower timeline, which are technically gone, but they kind of recreate it because it feels safe. That's a big. I mean, this is one big issue. This kind of like false illusion, or illusion of feeling safe. So this is when we create the old reality,
Mm,
which was painful. And now it's really to jump and to stay on the higher timeline, and to start feeling the bliss and the joy, and the new creations,
mm.
new services. I mean, this is for all of us. I mean, Janet, for you, I'm sure for you too. I mean, all our services changed so much.
Oh yeah. I'm in huge flux myself right now. So yes, the direction is a little, I'm waiting. And also when you talked about safety, I mean, that's a big issue for people to be safe. And so if they're going into the next higher consciousness, they're not going anywhere. They're still on this planet. It's just that they're moving into more of a flow in their life, right? They're things like you say, if you can step into that, your life flows easier. Yet we're so used to thinking other ways. There's got to be ways you can stop and go, okay, I'm getting stuck again, back in the old thinking. How can I shift that? How do you tell people to do things like that?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing this up. That this
Safety.
is such a big issue.
Mm,
I mean, even for people to wrap their mind around what can be new, what can be even a model for living a free, authentic life, being the creator that we are. We are just experienced that, and I think this is great. For example, that you do a summit like that. This is a new, this belongs to the new creations that we get together. This is what I feel. It's a very important that we really get together.
mm-hmm,
We finally overcome um, judgment, competition, all these old light actions we did to, especially also in the spiritual community, to that kept us separated.
mm-hmm,
It's really great to come together so we can be one force and move forward.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one other aspect is, I think it's important to understand, it is the ascension is a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we wake up one day, everything is fine. We
Right.
all, sing Kumbaya and we are ascended. That's not how that works. We constantly evolving, and it's a choice to evolve. And I even remember, even when I was very young, um, I was looking at people and I saw basically two groups. There were this one group who wanted to evolve, and others didn't. And it's fine. It's all free choice. It's totally fine. Um, I always wanted to evolve, and I like to work with people who want that too, and who are full responsible for that. And then it's amazing. It's amazing what we can create. The experiences are amazing. And I think this is what I really love in my work, when I can help people to come to that point where they remember who they are and they started to see their potential, which I see from the moment they come through my door, or I see them on screen, or I see them when I talk to them on the phone. And for me, that's always the greatest gift. If I see this is shining through again, and that's so wonderful. That's what we are here for, and there's so much more to come. This is what I feel. I mean, our, like, the linear life was so in, like, in a little box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it for many people it's like, yeah, go from A to Z and that's it. But there are like millions of
Yep, we're like little robots, just, doing the 9 to 5 and all that. That's such an old energy. I mean, this kind of work and people being independent business people is also another way of the new energy coming in. But then we get together as a community and we share for people. We share it out to people to understand we're all here to help each other. We got to be doing it first only because we were open to it and it came. But as soon as you're open, it comes to you as well. As soon as you're ready to, like, say, what do I need to do next? The universe will provide. You've got to ask the question, though. You've got to ask the question. And that's what I've learned. If you don't ask the question, you're not going to get the help, because it's not going to just drop in your lap. You've got to do the work. You've got to say, okay, what do I need to know now? What do I need to do next? Help me. Ask for help. You've got to do that. Like you're saying, you've got to do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
ask for help, and then do it.
And then do it. Exactly. Don't just ask and not follow the work.
Yeah.
If you're going to not follow it, why bother? Yeah.
It's not about waiting. I mean, the waiting game is really over. And also, and this is one thing I also observe. I think it's very important to not to participate in the drama on the outside. And this is going to be, for me, this is what I see, especially from the time which is coming. 2020 will be very different the next years. It is simplify your life, focus on love, peace, and freedom, and apply it to every thought, to every action. Yeah. Use commands. I mean, every word we say, it's a command. So one thing that could really, I think, help our audience is to put "so it is" after everything you think and you say.
Wow. That makes it definitely a command and a real statement. Yeah.
And it provides clarity of what we are creating constantly.
Yes. And then you look and say, well, that isn't really what I wanted to create. So you can go back and then change it. I mean, we always can change these things. And even if you're stuck doing the work, everyone's stuck doing it. Get help, or, keep working through it. Don't think you're not going to get through it, because you will. If you keep pushing through, like you said, keep up with that flow. Don't get back into the storm, the tornado, and keep pushing through it. And because we've all had to push through it, none of this came easy. I mean, some people got a little easier than others, but we all had to push through something. You had to push through an illness of a week of not sleeping, and just shutting down your psychic abilities when you're young, probably because of society. You just said it wasn't working, right? People, you didn't like what you were seeing, and so you said, okay, I'm done, I'm not going to go there right now because it's not what I want to live in. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really shut it down. I just from my perception, I feel it's not really possible.
Mm,
It's more a question of, well, how do I deal with it?
okay.
And it's for me, it was more a burden for many years. I felt very, very vulnerable, and being fully psychic, and seeing, hearing, and feeling everything can be totally overwhelming
Oh yeah.
and very painful if nobody really explains to you how to deal with it in this world. I mean, my mother, she was the one who protected me.
Really?
And actually, it made a big change that at one day, when I was talking to my guides, and I really understood there's nothing wrong with me.
Mm,
It's nothing wrong of being psychic and being sensitive. It's a question of how how can I find my way to live in this world.
mm,
And that changed everything for me. And then step by step, I moved forward, and then I found techniques, and that this is also what I share with my clients and my students in my work, because obviously I have a lot of people with similar issues. You know how it is,
yep.
Yeah.
Yes, whatever you've been through, they follow right behind, because we can teach them, because we're the teachers, because we've gone through it, and we can help them through it too. And
And
we're,
I think this
yeah.
is very important. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I think this is the great thing in these times now, that what for a long time was like in mainstream society was sort of crazy or funny or strange. Actually, that's very natural. And it's fantastic to see, that I have a lot of clients who have businesses, and who apply the spiritual principles into their businesses, and it's heart based, and also if they have businesses which are not like a healing business or coaching business, even with other business, where they bring really this new information in, and that is fantastic. And you see, when I coach them, I see how things are shifting, and how the employees are getting becoming much more happy,
Mm,
and the business flourishes, and that's fantastic. Then you have the proof.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at a fashion magazine, I think it was W yesterday, and they had all these young people up and coming, like fashion and all kinds of industries, business, fashion, you know, um, actor, writer, whatever. And they were just so unique in their display of who they were. They all look really different, sort of like not Star Wars, but Star Wars human style. Like they really, I mean, it's just like some of the movies we've seen coming up in the past. I can't even think of which one, but how the society looks so different coming up, because they've all become totally who they are, very creative beings, and expressing themselves exactly as they want to be. And this is what these young millennials and all that group coming up are showing us, that they're stepping into that energy. They've come in with that energy, and they're showing us how to do that. And so to move forward, you've gotten the information. we're stepping into it more and more. You were in fashion, you got to be some of that creative energy. You're still in that creative energy because you're doing this work. And so we're just allowing ourselves to become the creators and creating with joy. And they're also joyful, and they're also unafraid to show you who they are, even though it's taken a long time to get there. I mean, you know what happens when people show that they're not the same, and they're not, it takes a long time for people to accept it. But I think we're, like you say, that's the shift that we're seeing. If you can see that in a magazine where there was a page of at least 30 people, it was huge, and every single one of it looked almost like the Hunger Games people. If you looked at, did you ever watch that movie where the Hunger Games had all these people in the capital city with these outrageous colors, hair and makeup, and it was like that. It was like, oh my God, we are shifting into something so new and so different. I mean, maybe our age isn't seen as well. I'm my age, maybe not yours, you're younger, but you know, I see some of my friends who are definitely moving forward in the energy, and then I see the rest of them who are not. And it's like, when you're around them, you can feel a change, you can feel a difference. It's like such a heaviness. It just doesn't feel good. And I think when you're with people, that's what you get when you see the shift happening, and you get an idea of how it feels. When you feel the feeling of the frequency, like you're saying, you see the changes that are coming on. You can just see it visually. You don't even have to be, you know, doing any work. It's just happening anyway. But when you see the visual of it, it was pretty interesting to see that yesterday in the magazine. I had not seen that before. Very unique. So,
Yeah, and I think it's also good that we come more together. You know, when
yeah.
you mentioned the younger people, they have certain abilities and skills and wonderful, and you have the way showers, the forerunners who have a lot of experience and who are grounding,
Mm-hmm.
the whole, let's call it,
Energy. Yeah.
yeah, and who created so many beautiful tools
Mm-hmm.
and systems to really bring the shift forward. I think this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't, this is one aspect that I found is very helpful, that especially with the rising in frequencies, it's so easy to get or lose your grounding, however you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that people go into this flaky realms, which doesn't serve, and it's also not very healthy. So there are great tools out to really
Sent
heal
to you. Yeah.
frequency in a very good way,
Mm.
also
Mm.
for the body, because the body needs a lot of support when it comes to all the changes.
Mm. So you're a wayshower and a grid worker, and you just said what that means. It's the people who are the forerunners. So what keeps the energy in you positive and going forward?
One big thing is humor,
Okay.
and the other thing is nature. I think humor is very important.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I remember my mother; she was always telling me when she was pregnant with me, and it was during the carnival season in Germany, which is a big thing, and she was laughing a lot during that time with me, not being in her belly. And so she said, well, I think you got a lot about it. Sometimes, I've people said, well, you were already born in the costume, making jokes when you came out. And I mean, for me personally, in let's say in my darkest moments in my life, humor was what saved me, what literally saved my life. And I also allow humor in my work.
Mm-hmm.
And in my programs, in my sessions, and from my experience, it changes everything and often flips the heavy stuff in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And many light beings have a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I love to be in nature. I love to talk to the animals, to plant kingdoms, to connect with that. It's just so, for me, it totally fills up also my batteries, if you want to put
Mm-hmm.
it like this. And it's Gaia, the
Yeah.
living library. I mean, there's nothing greater, especially at the moment, to be at. And also for people, I want to suggest something, because many times I also work in big cities, and not all people have the chance to go into great forest or be at the beautiful lake or at the sea. Sometimes you just need one plant or one tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's always there,
Mm-hmm.
and the animals will show up. The birds will come by. Watch the signs. They really talk to you. You don't even, I just feel people don't have to have special abilities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Connect and feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the frequency. And the animals, they're coming so close in the last years. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing, the contact.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
true.
can feel your frequency. If you come in peace and love, that's what they feel. And
Mm-hmm.
they want to be with you and share information. And that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do connect with my backyard. I have a great backyard. It's very quiet. It's got trees, and we have everybody visiting, the squirrels, lots of birds because we have a bird feeder. The butterflies come because we have butterfly bushes that's starting to end. It's getting too cold, but the bees are there. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, we have hawks dropping in every now and then. We've got doves, and we have a rabbit. Our rabbit has taken residence now. And we have a garden, but that's gated, so we're okay so far. He hasn't gotten in there. But the garden's over. So he joined us. It's so funny. I saw him in the backyard yesterday. So I just connect. I do. I literally stand there and I say hello in my mind, and I can see the birds like turn their head like, who's that? Who's that? And I'm like, I'm here. And sometimes they'll just look, and they'll just look at you, and it's great. I mean, seriously, we can do that. I mean, people might think, really that's not true, but it's totally true.
Oh, obviously. I mean, totally. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember when I was in Manchester, and I was working there, and I remember, this is a really great story. I was on the phone with a client in Germany. I was outside, um, and while I was working, all of a sudden, and I had my eyes closed, and I was hearing that noise, and I could feel the strong energy in my third eye, and all of a sudden I was receiving all these codes and information, and I was opening my eyes, and there was a hummingbird
Oh,
hovering right in front of my
wow.
eye, giving me information for the healing of the person on the other side of the ocean.
Wow.
And that was magic.
That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. That's a great story, because people, I mean, I totally believe that. Yeah, I connected with a butterfly, last butterfly I saw, and I was just like, I want to talk to you. I want to visit with you. And he just kept circling. I didn't get any real message, but I knew he was checking me out, because he kept flying over the roof and coming back and then circling around me 4 times. So we were totally connecting, and I said, yeah, I just want to let you know I'm thinking of you. I love you, and we're here together, and we know that, and we're getting to know that more and more. And I just want you to know. And he just kept coming around, looking at
Oh
me.
yeah.
It was so great. It was such a real experience. It was
Yeah.
such a real, like your hummingbird. I mean, you can't even deny that. That was right in front of you. That's incredible. So that's a beautiful thing. You've gotten that kind of validation. So what is your dream for yourself in the future?
It's really ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Ascension for me personal, and also for humanity, and that we really step into love
Mm-hmm.
and peace and unity consciousness, and that it's available for all of us, and we live really on new earth.
And that's what ascension is, that we're all one, and that we're all connecting, and that we live from a heart-centered style of life. And
Yeah.
that's it. And
Yeah.
that's what this bridging of these 3D to 5D is all about. Just keep traveling that road to the next level and just keep taking that step, right? Forward and forward. Don't worry, even if you go a couple back, you're never going completely back. You're always going a little forward. Doesn't, because that's what, if that's your intention, keep your intention strong, like you
Yes.
say. Yeah. So you talked about what specific thing do you offer for support for people and the work that you do? Like, what is your number one thing that you feel is that you offer that makes the biggest difference for people?
Well, I mean, we talked about several things before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one thing is, I mean, I'm a natural healer and a catalyst, and I'm holding huge transformational energy, which was not comfortable when I was doing fashion. You
Mm,
can imagine. And as a channel, I provide the highest frequencies for healing and transformation on all layers and levels. So to activate the blueprint in its original state. And and my work is super intense, and it's for people who take full responsibility, and the changes are profound. And and that's what I really love to do.
mm-hmm. And you see them shifting their lives and everything they step into the flow. They are in the flow then.
Yeah. And I mean, I do also a lot of cosmic work and universal work, but that would be another different conversation.
Another conversation, absolutely. So, what message do you have for our audience for the rest of 2019 and what you see coming forward in 2020? Because you alluded to that a couple of times. So, let's hear it now.
um, Stay focused in
Mm,
frequency of love and peace and respect and harmony.
mm,
Don't fall for fear-based concepts. I think it's also important not to follow popular figures just because there is a lot of attention around something that maybe, if you do some research, one should always ask, well, why is that so popular? Because we are still changing the system. This has to be in consideration. Yeah. So simplify your life. Really, if things are dropping away, and a lot is going to drop away because the frequencies are so amplified, and they're going to amplify even more. I mean, we had the 10-10, we are going to have the 11-11, 11, 12, 12, 12. These are huge amplifier, and I guess there will be a lot of domino effects
mhm,
when things happen. And if you stay in your heart, and if you stay in your feeling and trust your feeling, I'm not talking about emotions, I'm really talking about feelings, which are good in the heart. So open your heart and follow the love and the good feeling, and apply that in every moment. Um, Things are gonna be a little shaky. It's always, I mean, we can use the metaphor of you bought a house, and this is kind of like a really old construction, and you need to remodel it
mhm,
in order to, that's a nice place. So it's not that you have to, tear walls down. You have to change the electricity system, the pipes. This is, it's it's shaking, it's work. It
mhm,
can be tough at times. Um, so I guess the quicker we say, okay, goodbye to the old electricity system or the old walls or the old stones, and to do the new and to hold the focus on the new, and also be excited about the new, it really makes things much more easy.
mhm,
Be kind with yourself.
mm,
We're all doing our best. I mean, especially people who are joining us today. I know you're all giving your best. So acknowledge that, really acknowledge that. And also see every step you do. Although it's a micro movement, it's a movement. It's a movement to the better. Get support on all levels, whatever you need. You don't have to do this alone. None of us has to do this alone. And let go of fear. Mm-hmm. The universe is always on our side. There is so much progress we made. It is palpable and it is visible. And we can really trust that. We can trust that and have courage and be brave to speak our truth, to move forward, to express our uniqueness. And I also, I would like to say there was a lot of very, very exciting new coming. I cannot really go more into this right now. That's just what's coming. There's nothing to be afraid of. And it's really a choice. If you choose to go on a higher timeline, then this is where you are, and you will not be affected from the drama. That is very important. It is literally you're on a different bandwidth. It's you're on an ice shell, and you go this way, and the ice shell with the lower frequency and the painful experience goes the other way, and they will not even be able to see each other at a certain point. It happens right now already. So that's my message for the moment.
Wow, that was a great message. Thank you for that. I think that's so powerful. And, you know, everyone who's here obviously wants this. They obviously are ready to change their lives and to move forward and to step into the new frequencies and to be in the flow of life, that they can live in the joy and the authenticity. So we are so grateful that you're here and proud of you for being here, because, you know, we all had to make that decision to be here and step into this work and to this information that you're getting and this new knowledge. So we're thrilled that you're here. And I want to, I know you have a generous gift. Solara, would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So every first Sunday of each month since 2014, I offer a global energy transmission. For 30 minutes, I transmit pure source frequencies to participants for all over the world for healing, clearing, and enhancement of their field. And through the energy transmission, people gain more power, they raise their frequency so they can live their potential. And my gift is to participate for our audience today in a global energy transmission in November and December of these intense 2 months, which are coming to give appropriate support in this year.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very happy to have you all in and to see, because I can see you in the etheric. We are in a huge light temple, and it's amazing.
That's a beautiful gift. Thank you. And look at the support. We're all supporting each other. We're all supporting you, the audience, and each other. That's what it's all community. We're all one here. No matter what you look at, we're all one. So thank you for that. And I want to thank our audience again for listening, and please email us with any insights or comments you got from listening to the show. We love getting your emails. I answer them personally as much as I can, like I did in season 1. And Solara, thank you so much for being a blazing light of oneness and love, and for bringing through your new Pleiadian lightwork system, which is helping so many people unlock their passions, ignite their authenticities, and finally create the lives they love. I am Janet Miller, and I will see you on the next episode.